Hi, everyone. Thank you again for tuning into our third episode now. We hope everyone had a relaxing holiday and we're looking forward to the new year and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's better than 2020. Just to give everyone a brief overview of this episode, we're going to start off by discussing the Capitol breach, which was a big deal last week. We're going to talk about it more from a security perspective. Followed by that, we're going to take a brief dive into the cryptocurrency world, which is really hot right now. And we're going to end off with a quick discussion on EV stocks such as Tesla, NIO, and Lion Electric to watch, especially this year because Joe Biden's becoming president in probably a week now. He's coming in. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll keep an eye on the sector for sure. Before we dive into these topics, we do have a housekeeping item to address. We actually had a follower reach out to us this morning mentioning a fake page. I'm going to give it over to Sad to talk a little bit more about that and how we're going to address it.
Hey guys, Happy New Year from me as well. I'm hoping 2021 is amazing for all of us. Regarding the fake page, so yes, we did post this on our story. There's a fake page going around. On Instagram. The name is the bottom line DS. So our Instagram page has an underscore and then DS, but then this page is just the bottom line DS in one word. So this page is fake, and it's essentially asking you to follow it for more details confirming the winner. But the winner will be announced at the end of this episode. So please don't follow it. Please don't click on any links they send you and all that, because it's a fake account. And if you can, please report it. And that was a housekeeping item. I'm going to throw it back to Deepak so we can get started with the show.
Yeah, and perfect side. And just making sure, if you have any questions or if any other page is pretending to represent us, just shoot us a message. You also have our personal accounts, DMeta15 and Sad's personal Instagram handle, which is also on our Instagram page. So feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any questions, if they come up in the future. Moving on from that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Capitol breach now that happened last week. Saad, I know you have some great insight that you're going to share right now regarding the implications from a security standpoint. So if you want to dive into that.
This is a huge thing in the security world, especially physical security wise. And with a bunch of strangers walking into the Capitol building, it's imperative that all of the electrical sockets and all of the technologies, any smart devices there are, any even printers and are replaced and removed and forensically analyzed, because this is a major physical security incident. As some of you guys may recall, back in around 2012, 2011, a similar thing happened in Iran in their nuclear power plant, where someone walked into their nuclear power plant and plugged in the USB. The USB had a malware, and that malware basically wrecked all of Iran's nuclear plant. And this malware is called Stuxnet. And honestly, here at the Capitol, worse things can happen if a malware actually gets injected into any of their systems. And the reason I say electrical sockets is because the electrical sockets could have a hidden backdoor or something. There's many ways to do it. I'm not going to get into too many details, but there also could be hidden microphones and stuff like that. So just on the safe side, everything needs to get replaced in there. And it just goes to show how important physical security is, along with information and cybersecurity.
Yeah, and you know what? We've already dealt with so many security hacks already. So given the fact that we have had strangers storm into the Capitol building, take items away from there, have access to all these documentations. I know I saw a post where one person actually went into Nancy Pelosi's office.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a big concern, and you don't know what they could have done in there. So you're absolutely right. They do need to clean things up there and make sure that no information is compromised for sure.
Yeah, we did post a tweet last night, and that really goes in depth about the things that I mentioned. So I'm sure you guys saw that, but those are just some of the things on that you think of, but it really is a really big thing, physical security. So it's imperative for them to make sure that everything gets removed and forensically analyzed and cleaned.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So just piggybacking off of that now, I know the next item on our agenda is cryptocurrency. So
Yeah.
I'm going to briefly talk about my understanding of cryptocurrency. Obviously, it's something that not a lot of people fully understand yet.
Yeah,
So what
Bitcoin's
I'm
been
gonna
booming, man. Bitcoin has been booming, and like
right.
everybody's on that hype.
Yeah, exactly. But it seems like some people are just investing in it just out of like FOMO, right? Like they
Yeah,
don't really understand what's going on, but because it's like the flavor of the month, like people are just investing in it. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna go into like the a lot of detail on cryptocurrency in this episode. Maybe we can do a special cryptocurrency episode later on.
yeah.
But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the differences between the rise we saw in Bitcoin, for example, in 2017 versus now, and see like whether it's sustainable or what the key differences are that would drive it higher, right? We
Yeah,
already know Bitcoin kind of blew past its all-time high, but
yeah,
today it's down about 10%. So we got to keep a close eye on that. But
yeah.
one of the things that I want to point out is that in the 2017 Bitcoin run, it was mostly driven by retail investors like me and you, right?
Right,
So
right.
it was
Yeah,
there was obviously just as much hype, if not more, back then. I know you saw crazy stories on Twitter where people would put their houses on sale,
yeah.
sell
Exactly.
it,
Yeah,
and then put it all into Bitcoin.
yeah.
And obviously that didn't end too well with
Nope.
prices dropping from close to 20K back to all the way to 3K per coin,
Yeah,
right?
it
So
went up all the way to 20K back in like 2017, and I think it was like around like 7K, where like the hype began, and it kept rising and rising. It was basically a bubble, and then it went down again, and people weren't educated enough, and they put all their earnings and stuff like that into it, and then it didn't turn out well, like you said.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But so one of the key differences I see here, obviously we've had significant growth again. I think Bitcoin actually doubled in value over the last month and a half or so, which is absolutely crazy. But
Yeah,
um,
huge
that's the
bubble.
fact of the matter. But I think the key difference here is that now we see a lot more institutions who have actually researched what cryptocurrency is and the value it can provide. So
Yeah,
you see a lot of institutional investment now, along with the retail investment, right? I feel when there's a lot of institutions buying into something, they've done a lot more due diligence. They see the benefits and they see how they can adopt it, right? And I think they're actually going to start introducing cryptocurrency futures. I know Bitcoin starting,
right.
Ethereum is going to start doing their own futures contracts. So I think it's getting a lot more legitimate than it was back in 2017.
Yeah,
So I don't necessarily think it's going to correct the same way.
yeah,
Obviously, when the stock when anything really goes up this much so quickly, it's due for a little bit of a pullback.
yeah.
But I don't really think it's going to drop the same way it did back in 2017.
You brought up Ethereum, and I was just curious, what's your thought on Ethereum? Because everybody talks about Bitcoin, 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 but
Yeah.
like, what's your thought on Ethereum? I know right now it's around like 1,300 Canadian dollars, and it is rising, as I've been keeping an eye on it. But like, what are your thoughts on it?
So I've done a little bit of research into Ethereum. From my perspective, my understanding right now, I feel Ethereum's technology is actually a little bit more advanced than Bitcoin's.
Right. Yeah.
So when I did research, I found out like you can actually program it to save and invest in its own via like smart contracts, which Bitcoin doesn't have.
Yeah.
But given that Ethereum is actually an unlimited supply right now, whereas Bitcoin does have a limited supply,
Yeah.
that could keep Ethereum's price from going parabolic the same way that Bitcoin's has. But I know they've also been working on things like Ethereum 2.0, which would
2.0.
actually
Yeah.
serve to, yeah, they would serve to cap the supply or limit the production of it, which would actually be good for its price, and it can go a lot higher that way. I know in 2020, actually, Ethereum vastly outperformed Bitcoin, so it could do that again this year. I think it has a lot more runway than a Bitcoin would at this point.
Yeah, the only thing is that like Bitcoin owns around 70% of the crypto market right now, so that's why like their prices are like booming. But like you said, Ethereum is something to keep an eye on for Bitcoin investment.
Yeah, and you know what? The whole market for crypto is working very. It's unique because when Bitcoin's steady, it seems like the altcoins like Ether, for
Yeah,
example,
Ether.
outperform it.
Yeah,
But the second you see a substantial rise in Bitcoin, it seems like the other altcoins don't perform as well.
seventy
So
percent thing. It's a 70%
exactly,
thing.
like it seems like the investors almost sort of get bored of Bitcoin's stagnant growth,
Yeah,
right? And then they go into the altcoins, but when they see Bitcoin start ramping up again, they dump their altcoins and buy Bitcoin. So it's working a little bit differently than we're used to. The other thing I wanted people to, our viewers to be wary of is the fact that people think that crypto is really a hedge against the market. But it does seem to actually react to market weakness, as we saw last week when the capital was stormed. First of all, the broad market was reacting negatively to it as well.
Yeah.
But crypto also reacted to it. So really, when people think that cryptocurrency is completely independent of what's happening in the
No,
broad
definitely
market,
not.
that's not entirely true. So
Yeah.
there is a correlation there. So that's something that you do have to keep in mind, because even if you are an investor in Bitcoin, if you see market weakness, I think the tendency is to sell that and just hold your US dollars or your Canadian dollars, whatever it may be, right? So I think everyone needs to be a little bit careful thinking that it's uncorrelated with the market in general.
Yeah, it definitely is related with the market and like the events happening around the world. You made a good point there. Yeah, and Ethereum is a coin to look out for and to
Yeah,
put maybe look into investing into, like you said, because of
right.
its features and how like its algorithms run. And
Yeah,
won't get into too much detail, but like there is a significant difference about between their two algorithms and how they're run. So
right.
yeah.
Absolutely. And if our viewers actually want us to do a full-on cryptocurrency special where we take a deeper dive into it, please send us a message, and if enough people are interested in that, we'll make a special episode just dedicated to that,
Yeah,
so we can give
that
you
would
guys
be
a better
great.
understanding of.
We would love to do that.
Yeah,
Crypto is something that both Deepak and myself are interested in, and
yeah.
we would love to educate ourselves and educate our viewers on crypto.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the last thing I wanted to really talk to you about is the whole electric vehicle space. Now, um, NIO and Tesla are obviously the juggernauts here.
Yeah,
There's also Lion Electric, which you've been doing a lot of research on. So
yeah.
I would like you to share your thoughts on, first of all, NIO, which had NIO Day, I think it was yesterday, right?
Yesterday,
So
yep.
yeah, so if you want to talk a little bit about NIO Day, how it's going to compare to Tesla in 2021, and
Yep.
just share a little bit about what you discovered about Lion Electric with our viewers, that'd be great.
Yeah, so New Neo Day, Neo, if you guys don't know, is like a Chinese-based EV company, and they had Neo Day yesterday, on Saturday, January 9th, and it was they released like two new cars. One is a sedan, and the other one is another great vehicle, and it honestly, like, if this is just my personal opinion, but if Neo were to come to California, it would be right up against Tesla. The thing with Tesla is that like they have a broader market right now, and they are trying to target China basically as their main market. And I see Neo can compete with Tesla, but the Chinese government has to back it up. And if the Chinese government leans towards Tesla, then Neo won't be as valued per se.
I mean, I was also hearing rumblings of a potential Apple partnership with NIO.
Right.
Obviously, they're a long way away from having their own Apple EV,
Yeah.
but if they do
2024, I
potentially,
think.
yeah,
2025.
yeah, they were talking about probably a 5-year timeline before they can get any sort of traction on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if Apple does decide to partner with NIO, I think they could definitely take a large portion of the market share away from Tesla potentially, right?
Yeah, 100%. You brought up partnerships. Even the Chinese company called Baidu, it plans, like I was reading some stuff, and like it plans on partnering with Neo or other EV companies, and that would be huge if they can partner with Neo. That would make Neo really good. Um,
Yeah.
there's also Lion Electric, which is a Canadian Montreal-based company, and they aren't as big as Neo right now because they just got public in November, end of November, start of December of last year in 2020. But I do see them performing really well because they have a bunch of EV vehicles coming up and on the rise, such as their trucks. So that's something to keep an eye on for Lion Electric. We did post like their stocks and like news about them in our Instagram story to keep you guys updated on them. But like definitely two stocks that to keep an eye on. With
Yeah.
Neo Day happening yesterday, Saturday, keep an eye out on the market tomorrow to see how Neo does. I personally believe it's going to be a bullish market, and Neo stocks are gonna, once like the share prices are gonna go up, and it's something to definitely hold on to for the rest of this year. Same thing with Lion
Yeah,
Electric.
yeah, absolutely. I think last year especially we saw a lot of companies trying to bring in their own EVs, but like
Yeah,
I think the most common example would be Nikola, which actually went berserk initially,
yeah,
and then it came crashing back to earth. So I think that a lot of companies are trying to enter the space, but there's not a lot of them that can actually like command a significant market share. But I do think NIO is one of the more legitimate ones, and you can see like even though it's reacted negatively at times and it's pulled back, it does seem to recover, and they do have a lot more substance than a company like Nikola did. So
yeah.
I think they can become a legitimate competitor of Tesla's.
If NIO can take over the Chinese market, they are operated by the Chinese government. If they
Yeah,
can take over the Chinese market and have like a major impact in California, where Tesla is based in, they can really compete with Tesla head to head. I honestly believe their vehicles are really good. You guys should check out their Instagram page and their Twitter page or the website for their vehicles. They're really impressive, and like I feel like they're the future of EV, along with Tesla, of course.
I also think a part of it is like which company can kind of reduce its cost enough to bring a price point into the market where consumers, like the average consumer, is able to afford it, right? Like
Yeah.
I know Tesla has been working very hard to keep reducing its prices, which it's been doing, but I think it almost might be like a bidding war, right? Like whichever company can cut its costs down enough to provide um, a price point where the average person can go and buy a Tesla or buy a NIO. I think that will be one of the key determinants of which one's more successful and which one experiences more growth in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. And then their battery quality too. Like, how long does the battery last? How long can one drive last you on the electric battery? That
Yeah.
too. And I feel like Neo is on top of that too. Like their cars last. I wouldn't say as long as longer than Tesla, but like they're
Yeah.
definitely up there with Tesla, matching their capabilities.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, do you think NIO's actually going to outperform Tesla in 2021 or?
Like I said, this at Tesla at the rate it's going, like it's definitely at another level right now. But for
Yeah.
Neo, they've got to secure the Chinese market. Because if Tesla secures the Chinese market, then I think Neo will be kind of underrated per se. Like their quality of products is good, their
Yeah.
quality of EV is like spectacular, but
Yeah.
not having the market and the hype around them is gonna make them like go down. But with that being said, the Chinese government will back Neo, and they do have like a headquarters in the U.S. So definitely, I see them moving towards California in the future. And if they do that and they continue to like release solid EV vehicles, I can see them competing with Tesla. I wouldn't say they would outperform Tesla this year, but definitely in the long run, I suggest holding on to Neo, and it can definitely match Tesla within like 2 to 3 years. So this is something where like you would just hold on to it and in the long term and wait for it to rise, because EV is the future, and I
Mhm.
strongly believe that Neo and Tesla are going to be the top two, and then of course when Apple comes out with theirs, we'll see about that. But that's still a long time ahead from now. But
Right.
yeah, definitely a long term hold. Don't expect it to like give you gains right away. Maybe at the end of this year, we'll see. But like definitely a 2 to 3 year hold, and then you'll see significant gain with holding on to Neo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Definitely gonna have to keep an eye on both of these.
Same thing with
Um.
Lion Electric. Lion Electric is Canadian, and
Right.
not too many people know about it. But they did form. They did. They are making their presence felt in the U.S. So that's gonna help them a lot too. So definitely look into Lion Electric as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already got, especially Tesla's priced in a lot of future growth. So I don't know whether it can continue with the current pace. For now, it does seem like it is, but we'll definitely have to keep an eye out and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, EV is the future, and it's smart to invest in those right now
Yeah,
and make profit in the
absolutely,
long run.
absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So that concludes the main topics we wanted to talk about in this episode. Now, side if you wanted to actually announce the winner of our contest.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys were waiting for this moment. We had to extend the draw because you guys came out and entered, and we really appreciate all of the people that entered, and we ran all the eligible participants in a random generator, a random selector, and it selected one winner, and that lucky winner is Hazel Bautista with the Instagram handle of Hey Bautista. We will reach out to you, Hazel, on Instagram to send you your $50 Amazon prize. And as I announced this, I just want to reiterate the fact that the fake page that we mentioned at the start of the episode is a scam. Please don't click on any links or follow them or anything like that, or do anything they say, because it's a fake page. As we promised you, we would announce the winner at the end of this episode, and we just did that. So congrats to Hazel once again, and we will be doing more giveaways in the future. So stay tuned for those as well. And yeah, back to you, Deepak.
Absolutely. Yeah, and thanks, Syed. So again, I just want to stress the fact that if you are ever unsure of whether the bottom line is actually contacting you, we have our personal Instagram handles linked to the Instagram page, so you can always just message us and bring it to our attention if you see any fake accounts or anything that looks suspicious, and we'll deal with it accordingly. So
Yeah.
please, we'll never ask you for your personal information. So don't volunteer it to anyone pretending to be us.
Yeah, that's why we always talk about phishing here too, because this is exactly why social engineering and phishing, right? And there's bad people out there that try to do that to gain profit, and like we want to make sure you guys stay safe out there and don't fall for these scams. So yeah, stay safe out there and don't fall for them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that concludes our episode. Hazel, again, congratulations. We will be contacting you shortly. And next week, we're going to dive a little bit more into the current trends in the market. Obviously, it seems like every week there's a new development, so we're going to try to keep ahead of that and provide you the updates as best as we can. Again, if there's any topics you want us to talk about, like cryptocurrency, for example, we're happy to do a special episode dedicated to a topic that's in high demand.
Yeah, crypto exclusive. We would be more than willing to do that for you guys.
Right. So just let us know what you want to hear, and we'll do our best to do that. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Thank you for tuning into our third episode, and we look forward to episode 4, where you guys can all hopefully tune in again.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed our content, please hit the like and subscribe button. The podcast of this video can be found on Spotify, and the link to that is in the description below. We look forward to providing you with more great content. Stay tuned.